Welcome to Working with Victims of Domestic Violence in the PFA Process. This is a training specifically for law enforcement professionals provided by Domestic Violence Services of Southwestern Pennsylvania. To begin, we discuss what is a Protection from Abuse or PFA order. In the state of Pennsylvania, a PFA order is a civil document issued by the court to protect a victim from future abuse. In order to file a PFA, one must be 18 years of age or older. If a person is under the age of 18, a parent or guardian may file on their behalf. Next, we ask, against whom can a victim file a PFA order? The answers would be a spouse or former spouse, parent of their child, their parents, their children, current or former sexual or intimate partners. This would also include dating relationships, or family members related by blood or marriage. When working with PFAs, we need to be clear on what is the definition of abuse. In this case, it would be causing or trying to cause physical harm with or without a weapon, putting someone in reasonable fear of serious bodily injury, holding someone against one's will or interfering with a person's freedom of movement, rape or sexual assault, and repeatedly stalking or harassing someone, causing that person reasonable fear of bodily injury. When defining abuse with regard to the PFA process, we emphasize bodily injury because verbal abuse, threats to take the children, and property damage, while abusive acts, do not themselves qualify for a PFA. Next, we'll touch on a few things that the victim needs to know about filing a PFA order. First is that clients are served on a first-come, first-served basis. Next is that the PFA process can take some time, usually 30 to 45 minutes to process all necessary paperwork. A client does not walk in and receive a PFA instantly. The judge will assess what has occurred and determine if they are going to grant or deny a temporary order. And lastly is if a temporary order is granted, a hearing is then scheduled within 10 business days that the client will have to attend. So the next logical question is, where does the victim go to file the PFA? The answer is DVSSP's satellite office in Greene County, which is located at 43 North Morgan Street in Waynesburg. A victim can file between the hours of 8 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. Monday through Friday. If the PFA is needed after 11:30 a.m. or outside of normal business hours, they can dial 911 and ask to meet the magistrate who is on call for an emergency PFA. Should the emergency PFA be obtained, the victim must go to the DVSSP office between normal business hours on the next business day to complete the paperwork for the regular PFA. Moving on, we'll discuss two new orders as of July 2015, which are the Sexual Violence Protection Order and the Protection from Intimidation Order. So starting with the Sexual Violence Protection Order, or the SVPO, this can be filed if a victim has been involved in any incident of sexual assault. So an example of this would be a victim who is sexually assaulted by a coworker. There does not need to be a relationship between the plaintiff and the defendant as there does with the PFA order, although the process is very similar to filing for a PFA. The second order is the Protection from Intimidation Order, or a PFIO, and this is an order filed on behalf of a minor child against an adult. So an example of this would be a coach telling an athlete to do something or there may be consequences. This also cannot be filed against another minor child. So now we can get into what exactly is involved in the PFA process. After a client comes to DVSSP's office, our legal advocates will educate the client on the necessary criteria to file the PFA. If the client still wishes to proceed, DVSSP legal advocates will then help them complete any necessary paperwork, including a petition requesting that the judge grant them the PFA. At the completion of the paperwork, the client, assisted by the legal advocate, will meet with the judge. This will occur the same day at 1 p.m. at the courthouse for an ex parte hearing. This concludes our training on working with victims of domestic violence in the PFA process. If you would like any additional information concerning PFA orders, issues pertaining to domestic violence, or DVSSP services in general, please contact our office. Additionally, for a comprehensive list of all trainings available, or to schedule a presenter, contact the Legal Advocacy Office in your county for assistance at the following numbers: or please feel free to visit our website at www.peacefromdv.org. Thank you.